Section 3, Part 1, Behavior Support Plan. We're going to look at the Behavior Support Plan and our suggestions about how to write this document and what should be included in the Behavior Support Plan. First, let's define this document. We selected an overall definition for us all to look at, and we selected one from the Alliance to Prevent Restraint, Aversive Interventions, and Seclusions. And this was retrieved on 11/22/2010. Our purpose here again is to look at common language between the department and all the providers. If we can agree on a definition of the Behavior Support Plan, it helps us in looking at the direction of completing this document. In this definition, it says that a Behavior Support Plan is an intervention and support that involves teaching new skills that replace a challenging behavior over time. It assists the individual to change his or her interactions, either physically and or socially, and it must be based on the conduct of a functional assessment. That a functional assessment we previously discussed in the previous sections, and it is the guiding driving force that collects the information and helps come up with our hypothesis about that target behavior that we're now going to describe and how we're going to change in the Behavior Support Plan. Let's look at some key components that we'd like to suggest to be involved and or described in your Behavior Support Plan. Let's look at the key components of a Behavior Support Plan. We're suggesting 10 major areas that need to be addressed in this document. I'll just review these briefly, and then later on they'll be specifically described for you in detail with examples. The first section is just general information about the target behavior. You need to provide goals and objectives of how you're going to address those target behaviors and your replacement behavior. You need to provide a functional assessment summary. This is basically a summary of what information and data you gathered from the functional assessment. It helps tie your functional assessment to your behavior support plan. The fourth section looks at medical, psychiatric, and medications. You want to look at seeing how the impact of these three areas affect or dramatically contribute to your target behavior. The fifth area is looking at strategies and interventions to decrease target behavior and increase your positive behavior. You've looked at these strategies and these interventions in your functional assessment, and you've introduced them. In Section 5, you're going to really specify those and drill those down to a more specific level. The sixth area is looking at environmental concerns, what environmental situations or issues contribute to your target behavior, and which environmental issues can you change readily to dramatically affect your target behavior. Number 7, we want to make sure that we're giving voice and choice throughout this document, but specifically in reinforcement and preferences. This is the section where you can highlight your individual's preferences and what they like to do, what they don't like to do, what is reinforcing for them, and this section really individualizes that aspect for the individual. Section 8 is integrating your goals and objectives and what you're going to address in your target behavior and how to change that, and putting that and placing that into your rehabilitation plan. Finally, you're going to have a section on how documentation is going to be kept for your BSP and a section for data analysis. Before we get into the key components, there's some just global issues in regards to the Positive Behavior Support Plan that we like to emphasize. This document has some philosophy to it and some underlying principles that we'd like you to remember while you're writing and addressing these key components. Those first area would be the goals of the Positive Support Plan. The goal for this Positive Support Plan, if you remember, is to help a person enjoy their life. The goal for this document is to increase the ability or the likelihood that someone's going to enjoy their day-to-day living. It also should help that person be more independent as possible. We're improving and looking at their target behavior and replacing that with hopefully skills that will enhance their ability to be more of an independent individual. The third area is that in reducing that target behavior or increasing your target behavior, replacement behavior, the individual will have a more normal life and overcome that target behavior. So it should help them in their day-to-day living, peer relationships, interpersonal relationships, and or their work and enjoyment of their daily living. Those are the goals of this plan, and you need to sort of look at those and keep those in mind while you're addressing your key components. Finally, there's the values that this document should enhance. And we want to make sure that we're respecting the rights of all citizens, protecting individuals from harm, and procedures that cause harm or hurt. the rights that protect that individual from restraint without due process. We want to make sure basically that the golden rule is practiced here, that we do unto others as they do unto us, and we want to make sure that we're respectful for others as we would like everyone to respect us. Traditionally, and this is a product that I'm sure you all have throughout your organizations and your services, but individual importance is always an aspect that we highlight. Person-centered practice, we're looking at the individual and making sure that individual is always at the center of our decisions and helping them have input and making choices in their daily lives and conducting their BSP. Treating people with dignity, and finally making sure individuals are not abused or neglected. These general goals and values are something that are not specifically stated in the key components, but are aspects that we highlight and suggest that you utilize while writing this document.